In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Peace be with you. I'm privileged here to welcome you all this morning. Come here to this church because Mary Ann Taylor would have been here probably at its opening. That is another great connection we have with celebration today. And we welcome all, especially those who are participating and organising all this great day, to celebrate an occasion not only of one person, but of the history behind that story. That is where she came from. It's all been recorded. She not only her, but she represents all those who were at different times suffered the same fate. So I'll ask Gorta now to start off our proceedings. We'll have an opening song first, and then Gordon will welcome you all.
Thank you, Father. For those who don't know me, I'm Gorta Mor. I'm Mary Ann Taylor's great-grandson. I'm joined here today by Mary Ann Taylor's granddaughter, by Mary Ann Taylor's great-grandchildren, by Mary Ann Taylor's great-great-grandchildren, and also great-great-great-grandchildren. That's a mouthful, so welcome to you all. I know a lot of you today have travelled great distances to be here with us, and we thank you for making the journey to York, your adopted home of Mary Ann Taylor. Today we have two ceremonies. One to recognise the 2016 National Famine Memorial Day here at St Patrick's Church in York, and the other is to open an Irish Orphans Odyssey, where our matriarch Mary Ann Taylor, herself an Irish famine orphan, will be honoured. This will be at the York Residency Museum commencing at 2 p.m. Our family historian, William Harold Marwick, better to know to us all as Bill Marwick, will launch his book, Mary Marwick of York, at this event. Without Bill's dedication and energy to put this history book together, we may never have known the full story about Mary Taylor. So to Bill, to you, thank you. A special welcome to Mary Ann Taylor's only living granddaughter, Freda Scrape. Welcome, Freda. Freda is the last survivor. At this stage of the proceedings, I'd like to ask Fred Ray, who is here representing the Irish community of Perth, to sing us a song. The song's all about the Irish famine, which of course we're here to celebrate. So Fred, I'd like to hand over to you.
Oh, the seagulls are calling, the winds and the sea, and we're fast moving out to the sea, bound for Australia, 12,000 miles away. A human cargo, my comrades and me. Fare thee well, green valleys, God keep you the same. If in only my mind you be, I'm sailing dark waters for far Australia. Nevermore my green valleys to see. It hurts me to think of the things I left behind, though the famine has blackened the land. I look now for something that I may never find. Is the problem that's now close at hand. So fare thee well, green valleys, God keep you the same. If in only my mind you be, I'm sailing dark waters for far Australia. Nevermore my green valleys to see. Now the fever is raging, the winds have died away, and our journey may no longer be. Though the plague is a shadow that lingers night and day, warmer thoughts of green valleys I see. So fare well, green valleys, God keep you the same. If in only my mind you be, I'm sailing dark waters for far Australia. Nevermore my green valleys I've seen, and nevermore my green valleys I see.
The next part of the proceeding is Bill Marwick is going to come and talk about the famine, and also Mary Ann Taylor. Bill will give us an insight into the famine story and also what he's learned about Mary Ann Taylor. You may be aware that in the second service today we're going to have a book launch, Mary Ann Taylor or Marwick of York, which is put together by Bill. So Bill, welcome.
Faith, sir, and it will be a good clerk who could tell that. Faith, sir, and it will be a good clerk who could tell that. My first few words were the answer to a question asked 167 years ago at the Mountbellew Workhouse in County Galway. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The question was put by an English gentleman who had travelled to Ireland to see if the horror stories circulating in England were actually true. He visited Mountbellew Workhouse, and his eyewitness account of what he saw was published in the Evening Packet in June 1849. He walked through Mountbellew and he was shocked at the numbers of half-naked women and children and men, emancipated people walking through the town streets. But even this prepared him for what he saw in the Mountbellew Workhouse. He was appalled at the thousands of sick and diseased inmates struggling to overcome their illnesses inside the hospital and other buildings that had been taken over by the Poor Union to house the sick and the dying. Our English friend finished his tour by visiting the workhouse cemetery, where he spoke to a group of grave diggers. They were digging a new trench to bury the day's dead, and using the earth they removed from that trench to cover the bodies in the trench they had dug earlier. Only 6 people were being buried that day. And that's when our English friend asked the question that I gave you the answer to. How many people have you ever buried in one day. One of the grave diggers paused, looked at our English friend and said, "Faith, sir, and it would be a good clerk who could tell that." They were dying in the streets, in the workhouses. It was terrible. My great-grandmother, Mary Ann Taylor, and at least 30 of the girls who came with her to Australia spent time in the Mountbellew Workhouse, and how they possibly survived that dreadful place is a total mystery to me. However, Ireland's troubles started 4 years earlier, in 1845, August 1845, when the early signs of potato crop failure began to show in the fields. At first, the landlords and the politicians and those removed from the field believed the stories of crop failure were very exaggerated and particularly designed to raise the price of corn and other crops. But it didn't take long for reality to sink in. The potato crop was failing, and the peasant class was in deep trouble. Potatoes were their staple diet. Many ate potatoes 3 times a day. They bartered with potatoes. They paid their rent with potatoes, the money that they got from the markets. They were kept alive by potatoes, for food, for clothing, for everything. The simple equation: no potatoes, no food. Once the reality did check in, the breathtaking speed of the potato disease, which we will call the potato blight, just shocked everyone. One day a potato crop looked lush and healthy. The next day the leaves were starting to wither. A few days after that, and it was all over. The potatoes were gone. Not even the pigs would eat those potatoes. Irish historians tell us about a third of the potato crop failed in 1845, 3/4 in 1846, a third in 1847, and 3/4 again in 1848, year after year of failure. Soup kitchens, which had started earlier, were closed in 1847, partly in the mistaken belief that the new season's crop was going to be better. And at the same time, the British government, in its wisdom, introduced a new poor law which disallowed any landholder with more than 1/4 of an acre being able to go to a workhouse and seek assistance. A double whammy. The potato crop does fail. The soup kitchens are now cut out, and people either have the choice of trying to stay on their property or leave to get food to feed their families. It was a terrible business. Yeah, the poor law was ridiculous. Anything over 1/4 of an acre and you couldn't get help. So they walked off the land. But worse still, many of the landlords kicked them off the land. And to do that, they smashed their houses and they drove them out in the streets. They dragged them from their beds in the middle of the night. It didn't matter whether it was pelting down with rain, whatever. They were taken out, they were left in the streets to fend for themselves and told, go to the workhouse, get some food and shelter there. The workhouses were full. The people just died. It was Terrible. Anyway, Mary Ann Taylor. Well, she lived through all that, and so did the girls that came out with her on the ship Palestine. In 1852, they left Mountbellew Workhouse. Now, the girls originally were in the Mountbellew Workhouse, but Poor Law Union took over that part of County Galway and gave it to the Mountbellew Poor Union. So the girls were taken from the terrible Ballinasloe to a new workhouse, and just a few months after that, they were on their way to Australia. And Mary and those other girls really were being sent to Australia, basically to marry convicts. And some did. Mary did marry a convict, Henry Daddy, and she married him twice, because once in a non-Catholic ceremony and once in a Catholic ceremony. And somehow Henry disappears. And the next person is Henry Beard. And Henry Beard, she has 2 children with him. She had 3 children with Henry Daddy. And Henry II, he gets put away for sheep stealing, and now Mary is on her own. But help was at hand. That's when she met William Marwick. And so they formed a relationship which lasted for decades and decades. Despite their differences about religion and other things, she was a true survivor. The thing that I think is the most interesting characterisation of Mary is that she was a wonderful mother. She had 3 families. She kept them under one roof. She had a champion to help, and she struggled, but she made it. She kept the 3 families together. And I think history will now rightfully record that she was an amazing mother, an amazing grandmother, and an amazing great-grandmother. I want to be a bit cheeky here. Anyone who is descended from Mary or is married to someone descended from Mary, would you raise your hands, please? G'day, cousins. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Phil. And thank you for also acknowledging the connection with the Batty family and the Beard family. As we mentioned earlier, we do have a travel box which has been made, which is at, I think, the front of the church. And I'm going to ask, well, first of all, the travel box was made and donated by the ladies of the Special Irish Section of the Western Australia Genealogical Society as their contribution to the 2016 Great Irish Famine Commemoration Day and for the display to stay at the York Regency Museum. The items are replicas of clothing and accessories given to the Irish orphan girls for their voyage and to help start their new life in Australia. This program was coordinated by a Special Irish Section convener, Jenny Abraham, who left no stone unturned to make sure she had everything right. So I now ask the ladies, Anne Doolan from Ballinasloe, where Mary was an inmate in the local workhouse before moving to Mountbellew, and Carmel O'Brien, wife the Assistant Superintendent of the Irish Prison Service, where the box was made, to bring the box to the steps of the altar, please, where Father Cooney will carry out a blessing.
Thank you all for the opportunity of being here and participating in this celebration. This box will be one of the best blessed boxes we have around. So we're going to ask God to be with us with this blessing, because it does not just a box, but it does represent a whole story. That's what Bill and Gordon have told us about. And we are here to participate and to celebrate those occasions. We're now asking God to bless this box once more, and all those who are going about to put various souvenirs or remembrances in it to share in this occasion. So we say, Heavenly Father, you are with us always, and you promised to be safe, to be with us to the end of time. We ask you now, as you accompanied and brought Mary Ann here, we are going to celebrate and thank you for your many gifts. Holy Father, you love your people as you always did and always will. We ask you to send your blessing upon this little box remembrance, and those who have provided it, organised it, and made it, and service to others. Bring us to share the joys of your Spirit. And we ask this through Christ our Lord. And we ask, loving Jesus, we love you, and we ask your strength and your grace as we try to follow you each day. And bless this image and this reminder and this souvenir and this box to the station of Mary, our mother, and help us to imitate her in loving service. Lord Jesus, we praise you forever and ever. Thank you.
We now have the female descendants of Mary to go to the back of the church and get some of the items that are going to be put into Mary's travel box to find its way to the York Regency Museum.
You can sit down now and I'll do
First item is my granddaughter Freddie Strait.
boxes be already blessed, so we bless the contents. And it is a memory that we shall have to share and be thankful to God that people like her has done so much through difficult circumstances and is here to encourage us to go forward in the uncertainty of today and tomorrow. I know that with our faith, nothing can conquer her, nothing can conquer the world. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. May God bless you all today and every day.
Donna Marwick, this is the daughter of Bill, and her daughter Bethany, are about to sing a special song that Donna wrote especially for Mary Ann.
Irish workhouse to Australia, across the water she came to a new life where she knew life would never be the same. In November 1852, at only 17, she sailed aboard the Palestine to the Swan River colony. Once there was a time when life was more than how to survive. Once she felt the warmth and the love in her mother's eyes, and she'd hear her mother say, Mary, stay strong, keep your eyes on the roads that lay ahead, but don't forget where you came from. The beauty land of her soul where her spirit had run free. She watched it fade into the mist as she sailed on across the sea. Memories tossed amongst the waves, poverty begun. Family love so long ago, scared child alone. Once there was a time when love was more than how to survive. Once she felt the warmth and the love in her mother's eyes, and she'd hear her mother say, Mary, stay strong, keep your eyes on the roads that lay ahead, but don't forget where you came from. And then 1853, Mary Taylor did arrive. From Perth to York, shattered she walked the next chapter of her life. Irish workhouse to Australia, across the waters she came to a new life where she knew life would never be the same. May your days be many and your troubles be few. May all God's blessings descend upon you. May peace be within you. May your heart be strong. May you find what you're seeking wherever you roam. May your days be many and your troubles be few. May all God's blessings stay strong. Keep your eyes on the folks that are right. But don't forget where you came from. And you hear her mother say, may all God's stay strong. Keep your eyes on the folks that are right. Don't forget where you came from.
Thanks, Gordon. Good afternoon, everybody. I suppose 2 years ago, the idea of Dr. Mary Ann Taylor was only an idea, and an idea that wasn't born. And it came to fruition from another project in relation to convict women. And there's a man who hails from Dublin, a man by the name of Michael Blanche, who's the founder member of the CCIFB, which is the Committee for Commemoration of Irish Famine Victims. And Michael has done tremendous work with workhouses that are now all across Ireland are being refurbished, turned into museums, heritage centres. And he approached me at one stage because I've invited Michael into Arpahill and other business on numerous occasions to talk to the inmates that we have housed around the country in relation to the famine and its effects. And he asked me if there was any chance that we could come up with some sort of an emblem or something to represent the CCIFE. And what ended up happening was that he asked me to come to a function that took place in Carrick Cross Workhouse about 2 years ago. And while we were up there, I noticed that there was a small box on one of their displays, and it had a woman's name on the front of it. And it was the name of a woman who had been transported from Carrick Cross Workhouse in the late 1840s. And I went to Michael and I spoke to the people up in the workhouse, which is now a museum, and I asked for permission to move it a step further. They agreed, and they said, knock yourself, go ahead, do whatever you need to do. Just send us photographs and so on. So what we did was, we tried to find out what the boxes look like, because there are actually no boxes in existence today of the original ones. They were made in the workhouses or by local carpenters and so on. They were regarded generally as being around 21 inches long and 15 by 14 in around those figures. They were most likely had a flat top on them, and the reason being is they were handy for packing on ships and so on. They could be stored easily. But we wanted to do something different. It looked, to me, the box that I saw up in the workhouse looked rather plain. I wanted every box to be individual, and I wanted every box to tell a story. The box could tell the story of an individual. It could be a ship, it could be a city. And the one that we settled on at that time was the women up in Carrick Cross Workhouse, and we put two women's names on it and the rest of them around the side and down on the rear of it. And then I got word back from Fred Ray, who was a very good friend of mine here in Perth. He was sitting there for us earlier. And he introduced me to the idea when he told me about the story of Bill Murray and Mary Ann Taylor. So, over a short period of time, which was probably about a couple of months, we actually got together, got photographs from Bill, and information about Mary Ann Taylor, and we started working on the box. It probably took the inmate that we were working with in the region about a month and a half to make a box. We finished it off, and then we got in touch with another good friend of Bill's, who's Valerie Kinsler, who is the curator of the Heritage Centre in Castleblakeney, where Mary Ann came from. And myself, Fred Ray, and Michael Blanche from CCIFE went to Castleblakeney, and we presented the box to the Heritage Centre down there, and it lies there today. And then afterwards we sent on photographs to Bill, to show him what we had actually done, and he then asked us if we could make a replica, which we did. And as you can see today, it's sitting here on the altar. We have made 7 boxes in total so far, and we have another 5 or 6 in waiting. The first one we went to was the one for Carrick Cross Workhouse. Then we had the Mary Ann Taylor box and its replica. After that, we did one for 2 famine ships. The Jeanie Johnson, which sits at Dublin Port, it's a museum, and the Dundrowdy, which is down in Wexford. I also made one for Mountjoy Prison itself, which is a major complex in Dublin. It was built in the early 1850s, but it housed probably the last remaining of the convicts that were sent to Australia. The practice stopped then in the mid-1850s. And we also made a box for Quinnipiac University, which is in Connecticut in the USA. And that was we were asked for that by a lady by Christine Keneally, who's the professor of Irish Studies, and they actually have a small famine museum in the university itself. That has been completed as well. and it now sits in Aberdeen, which is why it's been collected and transported over there. But as I say, we have 5 more left over. They're not designated for anybody, there's no markers, the box are just ready. And what we're hoping is that over a period of time that Michael Blanche will come to us with people from refurbished workhouses or maybe other people in Australia who would love to have a box and are willing to display it in a prominent place. Thank you.
The Irish Consul of Ireland, Marty Kavanagh. Marty, you'd like to come up, please? Australia and Ireland have always had a very close relationship, and I think events like today only strengthen their resolve. So, welcome, Marty. Welcome to York.
So, 170 years after the Irish Famine, and nearly 16,000 kilometres from Ireland, we gather here today in York to commemorate the Irish Famine. And you might ask why. And I think the answer lies in our attitude towards history. James Joyce in Ulysses said that history is a nightmare from which I'm trying to recover. It's also been said that if we don't know our history, we don't know ourselves. We're like a leaf which doesn't realise it's part of a tree. Darren Kagan, I think, said it best, and he said, bad things do happen in the world, like war, natural disaster and famine. But out of those situations always arise the stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And the stories of Mary Ann Taylor and the women who travelled with her on the Palestine are stories of ordinary people who did the extraordinary. Mary Ann was one of more than 30,000 Irish women who left the workhouses and poorhouses of Ireland during the period 1848 to 1863. Those women not only left starvation and hunger and disease behind, they left their families and they left their country, and all for the chance or perhaps the glimpse of a new life. Mary was not alone. We Irish are a nation of migrants. Since 1700, 9 to 10 million of us have emigrated, and on Gorta Mor, the Great Famine devastated our nation. 1 million at least dead, 1 million at least emigrated. If there's one small positive that comes from that, it's the emergence of the Irish diaspora. Today Ireland is a small island of 5 million people, but our diaspora worldwide is more than 100 million. We have many, many famous Irish Australians. We claim Nate Kelly, C.Y. O'Connor, John Curtin, Ben Shipley, and Jimmy Steins, to name a few. But it's the ordinary Australians, the ordinary Irish Australians who have left their mark, in terms of millions of good lives lived, and families and children that remain behind to remember them. Some 30% of Australians claim an Irish heritage. In our state alone, 200,000 people in WA claim Irish heritage, and on top of that, there's an extra 50,000 who were born in Ireland. We are your neighbours, your backpackers, your tradies, your engineers, nurses, police officers, doctors, and even a few unfortunate lawyers. In historical terms, we were also with you on the beaches of Gallipoli. In this centenary year of the Easter Rising, it's worth remembering as well that over 200,000 Irish men enlisted in World War I, and 1 in 5 paid the ultimate price and lost their lives. And what better example of our diaspora is Miss Frida Straya, I hope I pronounced that, who's here today and is 103 in July. Clearly you come from very, very hardy Irish stock. Australia's been a land of hope and opportunity for many of us, and we hope in our small way that we have significantly contributed to the Australian country. It's been said, and I've been accused of saying this too many times, and I've given so many speeches, but it's been said that the English gave us our laws, the Scots gave us our money, and the Irish gave us our sense of humour. And I like to think it's the larrikininess and that dry wit that the Irish have brought. On behalf of the Government of Ireland, my sincere thanks and gratitude to the people of York. You've done us proud today, and your love of Ireland and the Irish is very humbling, but most appreciated. My thanks also to Mark O'Brien for making the long trip from Ireland to be with us today in his commitment to this project. My thanks as ever to Fred Ray for his ongoing work in highlighting and remembering the lives of ordinary Irish Australians and their extraordinary deeds. In conclusion, and in memory of Mary Taylor, I'd like to read Patrick Kavanagh's In Memory of My Mother. Appropriate, I think, on this Mother's Day, where we all remember our mothers, their lives, their struggles, and for some of us, their recent deaths. In memory of my mother. I do not think of you lying in the wet clay of a Monaghan graveyard. I see you walking down a lane among the poplars on your way to the station, or happily going to second mass on a summer's day. You meet me and you say, "Don't forget to see about the cattle." Among your earthiest words, the angels stray. And I think of you walking along a headland of green oaks in June, so full of repose, so rich with life. And I see us meeting at the end of a town, at the end of a fair day by accident, after the bargains are all made, and we can walk together through the shops and stalls and markets, free in the oriental streets of thought. Or you are not lying in the wet clay, mother, for it is harvest evening now, and we are piling up the wicks against the moonlight, and you smile up at us eternally.
Thank you, Marty, and to all the speakers. It was remiss of me earlier in my welcome to wish all mothers a happy Mother's Day for today. I did have it written down, but I bypassed it. So to all the mothers, your service is invaluable. You keep us all going, you keep the families together, you keep the community together. To all the mothers, thank you. Just a short reminder, Father's going to do a final blessing, and then we're going to meet at 2 o'clock at the Regency Museum for the final part of today's ceremony. So I'd like to just ask Father Queenie to do his final blessing. Thank you, Father.
Thank you. Thank you, God, and thank you all. So we'll ask us all to be remembering of our heritage and to be mindful of the world we live in, of peace, harmony, and goodwill. So in our area, at least anyway, and whilst there is a lot of trouble throughout the world, and we pray for a better world, for better peace. So we'll ask God's blessing on all of us today and every day. It'll be with us, and that we may find the peace that only He can give. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good night, and Bola.
Thanks.